today we'll discuss EC2. Okay, EC2, and tomorrow what we'll do, we'll practice tomorrow. We'll practice EC2. Meanwhile, as I said, all of you please be ready with the AWS account. Okay, it will charge as initially some 2 rupees, and it will give you free account. For students, it will give you more. Okay, so EC2, we know cloud computing and all. Yesterday we have discussed, right? So we know what is cloud and all, on-premises and private, hybrid, and what are the different R's, PaaS, and SaaS. Then we discussed about different services yesterday, right? So in that, we are discussing about EC2, which we call as a compute service. Okay, so this EC2 also considered as infrastructure as a service. So what is infrastructure as a service? As we discussed, we'll be having the system where you load OS, virtuality, as well as the middleware and application on that infrastructure. So a blank system is given to us, with maybe with the OS or may not be with the OS. Then on that we load all our things, right? So this case is normally when client is capable of implementing or his own customized software we want to install in the system. We only want the computing system. Means it's a blank system where he'll be loading everything, right? So actually Swayam is he's having some leave on up to 21st or something. So that is where I'm taking all the basic classes. After the basic classes, someone else will be taking the classes. Okay. So highlight of the infrastructure as a service is on-demand computing service, no upfront commitment, and pay for what you use. When you start the that EC2 computing, then that module, then only you can pay. Otherwise, you need not to pay for that. So no maintenance, and measure services is also there. Scalability and reliability is also there, as I said yesterday. So what is this Amazon EC2? EC2 is Elastic Compute Cloud, right? So it's an Amazon Web Service which can use as a server, software, and storage resources across the internet in a self-serving manner. So you can buy or rent a server on the AWS, which we call as EC2. So which will have a what any server will be having: a processor, a RAM, a hard disk, an OS, right? A networking device, a networking system, and a graphic card, right? Normally you will be configuring any system like that. So in the same manner, EC2 will be having that unit or a module. Okay, so that server we can. We are talking about Amazon Machine Images, which are a template for operating system, application server, and application. Then we talked about regions and zones. Regions and zones are the place, okay, where data centers are maintained. The places where the data centers are maintained. So when we are selecting any AMI and our server, we can also select the zone. So if you go to Google, okay, if you ask Amazon data center, it will show us where are exactly different data centers are there. Okay, even in the Google also, it will give the total data centers, okay, where exactly they are located. So these data centers will be containing actual physical hardware. Okay, so in that hardware we are renting some EC2, which is a combination of hardware and software, okay, which is mostly SaaS. Okay, so you can, if you want to search for the data center, you can go to the Google and search for the data center. It will load, it taking a lot of time. You can search for the data centers. You can check where exactly different data centers are there. Yes, those data centers are divided into the different regions and zones. So we can select the zone. Some zones will be lesser costed, some zones will be higher cost. Okay, so we can select the depending upon our requirement, we can select the lesser costed zones or a higher costed zone from where we are renting this EC2 machine. Okay, so Amazon EC2 provides three types of storage options like EBS, S3, and instant storage. So we can select any one of them. Okay, so even we can select the S3 for or EBS, or we can also store direct instant storage where internal storage will be there. And for the network and security, we can load it in terms of the EC2 Classic or EC2 VPC. VPC means Virtual Private Cloud. Okay, so this VPC or EC2 Classic we can select. Okay, and we can select an IP address, and we can select an IP address. Normally, see, if we are selecting a server, how do we connect with that? It should be in some, it should have some network system where using that network or IP address or the private cloud, using that we can connect with that system, right? So that also can be selected here while using the EC2. Then for monitoring and auto scaling and load balancing, monitoring means how it is working. What is the traffic? What is the speed? What is the heat? How much? How the processor is loaded? All these things are to be monitored. So while we are creating the EC2, we can also choose the options for monitoring that. Normally we use the CloudWatch, and default analysis also will be given. And other than that, we can choose the CloudWatch. And auto scaling means, see, we have chosen the EC2. Suddenly, we want to remove or add the hard disk. 1 TB is there. We want to move it to the 3 TB. That dynamic or manual scaling or increase or decrease of the any storage can be done in the EC2. Okay, and also we can distribute the traffic for the multiple instances using the load balance. So say 1 lakh hits are coming to the same server. We can distribute that load 1 lakh to 10,000, 10,000, 10,000 to different instances while we are creating the EC2. Okay, so how do we do that? How do we do all those things? First, we have to sign up in the Amazon EC2. Okay, then we'll create a key pair. Okay, or we can, without key pair also, we can create the EC2. Okay, using the key pair, what we can do, from your local system, you can connect using the SSH and key pair to that EC2 which is in the cloud, right? So from your system, you can connect with the key pair with the EC2. Then we'll be launching the EC2 and we'll connect the instance and we'll customize the instance. And whenever we want, we will terminate or stop or delete the whatever volume or instance is created. So for creating a key pair, AWS uses a public key and cryptography to encrypt or decrypt the login information. Okay, so AWS stores the public key and user stores the private key. So there are two options for creating the key pair. Have Amazon EC2 generated it for you, or generate it yourself using third-party tools such as OpenSSH, then import the public key to the EC2. So either Amazon will create a key and key pair, or you can do it yourself, and using the OpenSSH you can connect. Okay, so when you are creating an EC2, okay, so you can use the key pair. You can click on the key pairs, and after selecting one after the other, then you can go with the downloading the key pair and storing somewhere, because when we want to connect with that system which we created, we should use the key pair. Okay, so we'll click on create key pair, and we'll enter the name of the key pair and the key pair name. Then we'll create and we'll store that data in our system. Okay, normally with the .pem extension. Okay, then when we want to launch, we'll select the regions also. Okay, and we can select how we select depends on the speed, how much distance from us, what is the latency, and what is the what we call cost per the region. That all will take. Normally, Origin is a lesser cost comparatively with Virginia. So initially, so first we'll go and launch instance, then we'll select the AMI. Okay, Amazon mission image. Okay, which is here you can see. It will display. It is a Linux 3.2 AWS tool and MySQL and all those things. So 64 bit. First we'll select when we want to create an EC2. First we have to select any one of these. Or directly we can select the Ubuntu server, or we can select the Red Hat X5 Express, or we can use the Amazon Linux. Better we use the Amazon Linux because it mostly supports the Amazon service. Then you can click on the new instance page. Then we have to choose the key pair. So then once it is once the key pair is downloaded, we'll launch the instance. Okay, and we can also select the security group for the instance, and will also set the firewall rules specifying incoming network traffic. Like normally using the SSH, we need to connect with the system. So we have to specify the inbound that SSH, using the SSH will connect with that system. That rule we have to add in the security group. Then here after instance is so after doing that, we can select an EC2 machine. Here you can see P1 micro is selected. P1 micro is again a configuration where it specifies what is the processor, how many processor, what is the speed of processor, how much size it is. Then we can launch that and we can connect using the SSL and we can work with that EC2 machine. Okay, so now we'll see. In the next class we'll see executing or connecting or creating this EC2 machine and connecting from the local SSH to that EC2 machine and loading some basic websites, creating a basic server over there in the EC2 machine, and we'll load a basic website and we'll make it live in the tomorrow's class. Okay, so in the tomorrow's class we will open a EC2 instance. Then in that EC2 instance we'll load web server. Then we'll make it live and we'll open that website from the AWS. Okay, so normally for creating AWS, first you need to go to the AWS console. Okay, then you have to sign. Okay, so you have to create a free account. So in that, you have to first you need to give the mail ID like here what is the mail ID? Some @gmail.com. Then you can write it as EPC. Okay, so we'll verify whether already it is here. So it will be sending a mail 679105 is the mail ID, right? Okay, root user password. You can give any password. I'm giving my So you'll be creating a password. Okay, then you can select the free plan. You have to go with the paid one. Then you can use so after giving that we'll go to the next. So we have to give the some in the AWS we have to give the some debit card or some debit card details. I'll show you up to this, and you can personally give the debit card details. Then it will okay. This it will be asking the debit card. Then it will only charge some ₹2 only. The AWS will be charging you only ₹2. So only you can give the debit card. Then you can log in. Okay, and you can log in and you can check check your system. Tomorrow I'll ask the credential of company AWS account and I'll show you in that. Okay. Meanwhile, please all of you create, then it will go and give you, initially it will check the transaction. After checking the transaction of ₹2, then it will give you the dashboard. Okay, it will take near about some 16 hours to 24 hours to complete the giving you access of the dashboard. Okay, meanwhile, if anyone is having the dashboard, they can